Indie News.
Good afternoon. It is 1:01 p.m. I'm Samson Franklin, and here's what's happening inside the Indie Newsroom. House Speaker Mike Johnson is under pressure to pass a federal funding bill and avoid a long partial government shutdown as arguments grow over Trump administration immigration enforcement efforts. Johnson is counting on help from President Donald Trump, who made a deal with senators to make separate funding for the Department of Homeland Security from a larger spending bill after public anger over 2 shooting deaths during protests against immigration and customs enforcement in Minneapolis. The Senate's plan would fund DHS only until February 13th, giving Congress limited time to agree on possible limits to ICE operations, while Johnson must rely on Republican support over the bill forward after Democrats refuse to help speed up the process. A woman has been charged in Northwest Ontario with 2 counts of cruelty to animals after a pair of dogs were left 4 hours in a freezing cold vehicle. Provincial police say they got a tip early Saturday, and person in the township of Nipmugan, northeast of Thunder Bay, was violating court-ordered release conditions. When they arrived to the scene, they found 2 boxer-like dogs inside a unheated vehicle. Police say the outside temperature was near minus 18 degrees and that the dogs had been inside the vehicle for more than 2 hours. Investigators say the dog appeared unharmed and are being cared for by local residents. The woman accused also faces 2 counts of failing to comply with a release order and is up to appear in court at a later date. A nuclear refurbishment at Darlington Power Plant has been completed, with the unit expected to return to service soon. Energy Minister Stephen Leckie announced he said the project finished 4 months ahead of schedule and $150 million under budget, with a total refurbishment cost of $12.8 billion. The work involved refurbishing all 4 reactors units, extending the Darlington nuclear generation station operations life for at least till at least 2055. The Ontario government, under Premier Doug Ford, is relying on nuclear power planning resources at Darlington and Portland plant at Bruce Power, another near Port Hope, and refurbishment Pickering to extend its lifespan. Sports and weather next.
Indie Sports.
Taking a look at sports in NHL action. Senators march into Pittsburgh to face the kid himself. Sens Penguins tonight at 7. Buffalo heads to face the defending champs. Sabres at Panthers tonight at 7 p.m. Canadians at Wild tonight at 7:30 p.m. Winnipeg lands in American Airlines Center to face Jason Robinson and the Stars tonight at 8:30. And tonight, your Toronto Maple Leafs walk into the Western Fire. Toronto at Calgary tonight at 10 p.m. Up next, weather.
Indie weather.
Tonight, it's -9, feeling like minus 16 degrees. Tonight, it warms up minus 8 degrees with a chance of flurries. Tomorrow seems to be minus 9 degrees. And right now in Hamilton, it's -9, feeling like minus 16 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. That's all for your Indie weather. Leaders of the undersea wall. You're listening to Indie 101.5, and you're listening to the What's the Point show. Yes, you may be like, what is this? The first time I'm hearing of this. But you may be like, I recognize that voice from Wednesday morning, or recognize this voice from a couple months back. Yes, you know who's back. The hostess with the mostest, the OG with the most D's. Sam's on point. I'm back. And I'm just here to tell you that I'm going to give you a show with the most hit music, lit songs that you will listen to today. But that doesn't mean Indie 101.5 is going to get worse. But right now, you already know it's February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, and we got our good friend, Willie, Wyerton Willie, coming up. And he predicted that we're going to have a nice and easy early spring. But that American Punxsutawney Phil, the OG from the movie Groundhog's Day, saying that it's going to be a longer winter. I'm just saying our groundhog's braver than the American one. That's no diss to the States, but Puxatawny Phil, your shadow cannot be that scary. Anyway, up next is Therapist by Jeremy Zucker on Indie 1015. That was Anthony by Run River North. And honestly, don't give up. Don't give up. That was an amazing song. That was lit on Indie 1015. And if you've heard Brunch Vibes on Wednesdays at 10 in the morning till 12 in the p.m., you may have heard my rant already about Super Bowl 60, the 60th Seahawks Patriots rematch, right? But I'm just gotta say it again. I do not like the Patriots. I do not want them to win. I do not want to see them lift another Super Bowl trophy. Okay? But these are just the stats. Both teams got a top 10 defense in the league. Okay? So it relies on both the quarterbacks. Now let's dig into the Patriots a little bit, because I believe the Seahawks have it in the bag and I don't even got to say nothing. Right? The Patriots had the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. All their opponents combined, again, all the people they faced this year combined had a 38% win rate. The Patriots have 11 Super Bowl appearances in 40 years. That's a lot. And the only reason it's 40 is because they had a little bit of an extra long stretch between the 80s and 90s. But that is 6 wins, 40 years, 11 Super Bowl appearances. That's a 55% win rate when they appear in the Super Bowl. Let's hope the Seahawks can make that a little bit lower. Okay? Because I do not want to see anyone talk to me about the Patriots. But if you disagree, hit me up. Sam's On Point on Instagram, Sam's On Point on Twitter, or even come to me. Email me, samsonpoint43@gmail. But regardless, I'm a Bears fan, but also a music fan. Bad Bunny will be actually hosting the Super Bowl this year. Not hosting, but performing at the Super Bowl this year. He won a couple Grammys. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in your entertainment minute coming up right now.
Indie Entertainment.
The Grammy Awards happened Sunday night, and next year it's going to be a slightly more comedic number. But anyways, here are your winners for the 68th Grammys. Billie Eilish won the Song of the Year with Wildfire. Best New Artist was Olivia Dean. I do not think she's new, but who cares? Kendrick and SZA win Record of the Year with Luther. Of course, Kendrick and SZA, banger after banger. Okay, your Super Bowl performer, Bad Bunny, gets Album of the Year with Debí Tierra Más Fotos, and making Grammy history, being the first Latino artist to win Album of the Year. And that's crazy because the Grammys are like 68 years old, but almost every single winner was speaking out against the injustices happening in the United States with ICE and the U.S. administration, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't matter too much because these rich people really know what our struggles are. Anyway, I'm Sam's On Point, and that was your Entertainment Minute on Indie 1015. Indie 1015, that was The Enemy by The Through. I'm your host, Sam's On Point, and you already know this is just a titty little bit of intro, but right now I gotta remind you, listen to the What's the Point show. It's 1:27 in the p.m. You gotta follow me on Instagram, Sam's On Point on Instagram. Follow me, and guess what? If you want to catch me later, I got a little secret surprise for you at the end. Okay? Up next, another break by me. That was Sculptures by Young Rival. And you're listening to the What's the Point show on Indie 115. And this is the What's the Point segment with your host, Sam's On Point. The point right now, Frederick Douglass, born in Washington Bailey, February 1817. On February 1817, he was an American social reformer, about abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. He became the most important leader of the movement of African American civil rights in the 19th century. After escaping from slavery in Maryland, Douglass became a national leader for the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts, and New York, during which he gained fame for his oratory and incisive anti-slavery writings. Accordingly, he was described by abolitionists in his time as a living counterexample to what enslavers' arguments that enslaved people lacked in intelligence, capacity for function, and independence, American civilizations. Northerners at the time found it hard to believe that such a great orator had once been enslaved. It was in response to this disbelief that Douglass wrote his first autobiography, and you should go check that out. What's the point? Black History Month. Up next, White Buffalo by the Crownlands on Indie 101.5. I think he's confused about his identity or something. But that was Identity by Grandson. He's not my grandkid. But speaking of things that are grand on Indie 101.5, the What's the Point show. And something else that's done a lot of grand things, the Home Network. Have you ever watched that before they changed their logo and it was an orange house? Well, I have, and I've seen many eras of many different kinds of shows. And I can say Home Network has some of the weirdest human beings I've ever seen in my life. Okay? You got couples looking for a $3 billion McMansion, and they're going to come up to the interview being like, "Hi, my name is Louise, and I am a business broker of bow ties. And this is my husband. Hi, I'm Chad, and I'm a stay-at-home dad of our 2 Shih Tzu pups." No. How do you have $3 billion to spend on a house? But, then you hear their expectations. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we want 1.5 bedrooms, a toilet, and enough square footage to fit an elephant." I'm like, brother, please tell me, make it make sense. They got the opposite of that, the opposite problem, where it's like, "Hi, I'm Dave, I have no money, and I'm looking for a $14 million, a house worth $14 million, 100 trillion square footage, and I only want to spend a budget of $5 and a piece of pocket lint." And somehow these Home Network realtors find a way. They always find a way, except when it comes to Love It or List It for some reason. Love It or List It. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Love It or List It. These guys, these guys, like Hillary Farr, girl, I can respect you. How do you get these people to love their house? How? Dude, David, I watched the show. David, he found a mom and her son a place with everything they wanted plus a pool. Hillary Farr barely fixed the house. And guess what? They said, "Love it. Oh my gosh, we love it." No, you don't. Shut up. Okay, regardless, I'm over it. Okay, speaking of Love It or List It, I think you're going to love and not list Indie 101.5, including what's up next, Every Day by Derek Piango on Indie 101.5. That was Every Day by Derek Plango. And that was the live acoustic version. Now you see my voice a little bit calmer, and it's because it is currently the end of of my show, What's the Point? With your host, Sam's on Point. But if you're like, "Man, I'm just tuning in, this guy sounds like a great vibe," don't worry. I'm going to be posting the show later today on SoundCloud and on Spotify with clips on my other social media. But that's all for now. Thank you for listening to the What's the Point show. I'm the host, Sam's on Point. And up next is Don't Live Up by Born Flowers on Indie 101.5.